afternoon, Chaos. This is Keltos, your friendly Legion's leader here, to do another roster review. This one for one of our brethren in Agents of Chaos, Tehsigzorz. Now, this is another fun review to do, because he's not at that end game level where a lot of us are preparing for Heroic Sith. So this one was really interesting to kind of go through and see what the best things to farm were. There's so many options. There's so much stuff to do. It's really hard to narrow down what's top priority, what's not top priority. So I really feel like here's somebody I could actually help out quite a bit and really provide some guidance. Now, this took a little bit of research and some time to go through and figure out, all right, what do we need to farm? Where do we need to farm it from? What can we skip? All that stuff. So I started by just jumping in and looking at how many Gear 12 characters you had, and I see just 5, which is the arena team. Not a problem. I also saw plenty of Gear 11s, which is very, very good. Means at only 1.6 galactic power with 3 full rows of Gear 11, Gear 12 characters is pretty impressive. Means you've been focused for a while, and you're really going after what you've got, which is really nice. And then I looked at kind of the rarity, how many 7-star characters you have. And you've got about half of them, well, not about, yeah, right around half of them done, maybe a little bit less. So there's plenty of options and there's plenty of places to farm characters. So where to focus your energy, where to spend those Cantina energies, where to spend that regular energy, where to spend all the currency that you're getting, the Guild War, or the Galactic War, the Cantina currency, the Arena currency, Guild currency, Special Event currency, Fleet currency. Where is all this going to go? So I tried to break it down and give you what I think the biggest bang for your buck is going to be. Now, seeing that you had a 7-star base Malbus, I'm assuming that your light side has cleared everything at 3 stars. And that your dark side is not very far behind. Because we see that your dark side, you have some pretty strong characters. So I'm going to just flat out assume you can farm anything, anywhere. And with that assumption, I'm going to tell you that there's probably 5 or 6 characters I would focus on farming out of the hard nodes if I was you. Now, on the dark side hard nodes, the one I would make sure that you get the most done every day is Sabine. Very early, either 1A or 2A hard node. It's 12 energy. Get all 8 of them done every day. Sabine is that good. You really want to have her at 7 stars. Okay, so I'd focus your energy, get those 8 done. After those 8 are done, I would go to another one that has 3 nodes, and that's General Veers. General Veers, who you've already got a Zeta on, you look like you run the troopers a lot, you know how strong they are. So just get Veers to 7 stars, get it done, and get it over with. Okay, those are the top 2. Now, when those are done, it's time to switch to one that some people may have forgotten, but your Hoth Rebel Soldier is only 5-star. Now, you might say you only need them 5-star to do the events, and you would be correct. However, to maximize those events, it'd be nice just to get a 7-star and out of the way. So I'd recommend getting that to 7-star so that you don't have to waste a space for another tank like Baze in that special mission. You could just use the Hoth Rebel Soldier, throw a little more gear, like Gear 8 or Gear 9, call it a day. That's your tank. You don't need anybody else. Okay, and then after that, there's some newer characters that are just very, very good. One of them being Visas Mar, who is in Dark Side, tab 7. So you'll want to probably start farming shards for her. And then the other two are on the light side table. One of them being a very popular Night Sister at the moment, Mother Talzin. Mother Talzin is very strong and can fit into a lot of different groups. I'd strongly recommend getting her farmed up and ready to go. And then another light side farm I'd recommend is Darth Scion. Scion is amazing, and I don't say that just because I love the Sith. He really is that good, especially once you throw a Zeta on him. So, with that said, I may switch up your arena team a little bit. Oh, excuse me. Right now you're running straight Rebels, but I noticed that you don't have any crit damage mods. Now, Commander Luke and Han Solo do best with crit damage mods. So at this exact point in time, you don't have the mods to run a really good Rebel group. So I'd recommend switching over to what the current meta is and do a mixed Empire Sith team. For you, it would be more Empire than Sith, which is fine. They are very strong. And so you have an Emperor Palpatine. You have Emperor Palpatine's lead. So let's go ahead and use that lead and pair him up with Darth Vader, Grand Moff Tarkin, Shore Trooper, and Darth Nihilus. Now, as you gear up Scion and star him, I'd recommend switching Shore Trooper for Scion. And next time the Strategist or the Art of War event comes around and you can get Thrawn to 6 and 7 stars, he'd be a great one to sub in there for Grand Moff Tarkin. However, in the meantime, Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader, Grand Moff Tarkin, Shore Trooper, and Darth Nihilus are a strong arena team that you could use in place of the Rebels, since you don't really have the right kinds of mods to run the Rebels. Vader really just needs a ton of speed mods. Palpatine and Grand Moff Tarkin need potency, which you can get. Nihilus just needs speed. And Shore Trooper needs a combination of speed and health. Health being the easiest mods to get, so there's no reason not to have great mods for him. And I'd recommend switching your arena team over to those 5. Looking to switch in Grand Admiral Thrawn for Grand Moff Tarkin, and switching in Darth Scion for Shore Trooper when you get them. Now, Cantina Energy. Cantina Energy is very, very valuable, and especially seeing as how you need a bunch of mods, you want to use that Cantina Energy for mods. However, I would recommend getting 3 different characters maxed out before you start going for those mods hardcore. One of them being everybody's favorite scoundrel, Chewbacca. You want to get Chewbacca so that you can get Jedi Training Rey the next time she comes around. Hopefully you are very close to getting him 6 stars already, and I don't know that you'll get him ready to go before the next event, so it might be better to farm the second character I'd recommend getting from the Cantina table, and that would be a very, very strong Imperial Death Trooper. Death Trooper, you have to have him at 7 star. He's used everywhere. He's used in a bunch of groups. He makes a lot of groups viable, so you really want to get him to 7 star as quickly as possible. So if you're not close enough to Chewie to get him done for the next Rey's Hero Journey, get Death Trooper instead. Okay, now after Veteran Chewie and Death Trooper, there's really only one other character that I think you really should get before you start farming mods, and that would be the First Order Executioner. He's a super easy farm, only 8 energy, so he'll be great to get to 7 stars because he is a phenomenal damage dealer. And on top of that, your first order are looking fairly decent. So it's not inconceivable to get a good first order squad for you soon. So Veteran Chewie, Death Trooper, and First Order Executioner, where you should spend your Cantina energy, and then once those 3 are maxed, start farming mods hardcore. And then once those guys are done, and if we need a break from mods, I'd recommend we getting Sith Trooper, Sith Assassin. Very, very strong characters, but they're not a really top priority. You need those mods, okay? Now, speaking of mods, there's still one character you need to be able to unlock the best mods for you, and that's the Jawa. Now, I'll be honest, I don't remember exactly where Jawa is farmed, so wherever you find him, 100% of your focus in that area should be focused on getting the Jawa to 5 stars. Because 5 stars is what you need to use him for that critical damage mod challenge. So get him there. Once he's there, your Jawas can probably finish that challenge and unlock critical damage mods. So once that's done, you can really start farming the best mods, because every damage dealer pretty much needs crit damage. So you want to get those and start farming them and farming them and farming them and have a massive bank of critical damage mods with lots of different secondaries, not just speed. Now when you get them, those crit damage mods, you want to get crit chance, you want to get potency, you want to get offense, and you want to get speed. So if you see any of those as secondaries, snag them up and start leveling up those mods to get those secondaries as high as you can. Now, this farming and your daily activities are going to get you a lot of currency. Now, what to farm with that currency? Well, in the Guild War, I looked over the table there and what's available, and really there's nothing that's super important for you to get. So if there's somebody you're just dying to have, or you really like them, or you think they could be useful in the future, go ahead and get them. Myself, there's nobody in there I find super useful that you don't have at 7-star already. So if I were you, I would use that Galactic War to either farm ships or farm shard shop currency. Now I would go for maybe the ships or the currency. Well, I'd probably go for a select few ships, which I'll tell you about in a few minutes. And if those ships aren't there, I'd go straight to the Galactic War currency. Now, from the Cantina, when you're going to be farming your Chewie and your Death Trooper and your Executioner and your mods, you're going to get a lot of currency there. So who to farm with the currency you get in that? And I would say there's only one character left for you to get out of that store. Pow is a great character to have, and he works in a Chex Mix. You really just want to get him 7-star and about gear 7 and gear 8, but he's one you kind of want to get. So I'd recommend getting him. The arena currency, there's some very, very nice characters in there, but you have all of them as 7 stars already. So the rest of the characters you don't have are not super useful. So I wouldn't worry too much about getting characters out of the squad arena shop. The single exception possibly would be Newt Gunray, who I don't remember if you had him at or what his star count was. So if you don't have him at 7 stars, you might want to get him up, but if not, it's not a big deal. You don't have him at all, so it's up to you. Some people find lots of little uses for him, some people don't. I don't think he's worth spending the time on, because you're going to want to get gear, and you're going to need that arena currency to farm gear. Now, the big place for you to get characters that you're going to need will be in the guild store. Not the guild event store, but the guild store. You know, where you use the currency you get from completing raids. Now, this is the one piece of advice that a lot of people may find questionable. But I think there's 5 characters you could benefit from investing in the guild store. And those characters being the Special Forces TIE Fighter pilot, the First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter pilot. He's really good. His ship's really good. You would really like him. I'd also recommend a little bit out of there getting Scavenger Ray. Now, some people might disagree because you could also farm her from hard nodes, but it's really up to you. The other guys I mentioned earlier are probably better hard node farms, but if you want to throw Scavenger Ray in there and maybe hold off on getting Visas Mar or Mother Talzin, you can go ahead and do that. But Scavenger Ray, you're going to want to get her up as quickly as you can because resistance is strong and will stay strong for a while. Now, the last 3 characters is where some people are going to say, Hekalatos, you're crazy. And those 3 I'd recommend, only one of them you have unlocked currently, and that's Zam Wessel. I would definitely recommend getting her. And with all the love that Scoundrels are getting, I really think the Gamorrean Guard is going to make a comeback. Okay, there's only one tank in the Scoundrel group, and that's Clone Wars Chewbacca. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 tanks. Stormtrooper Han and Clone Wars Chewbacca. Stormtrooper Han is not a hardy tank. But given the kits of the characters that have come out, I really think the Gamorrean Guard is going to work and pair well with Kira and Enfys Nest. So you could benefit from getting Gamorrean Guard. If you don't want to gamble on it, no hard feelings. I'm just seeing I'm seeing the game head towards Scoundrels, and they're going to have their day here in a few months. So if you want to try and get ahead of the meta, that is my prediction, but take it or not. It's totally up to you. And that leaves the Fleet Arena store. There's only one character worth getting out of there for you, I think, and that is Fulcrum Ahsoka Tano. You have no gear on her yet. You have not leveled her at only tier 2 stars. So you may just want to focus on Zetas instead of getting her. She's not game breaking. She only fits into a couple of groups because you really have to build a group around her. But if you are able to build that group, she's fantastic. So that's the only character I think that's worth getting for you out of the Fleet Arena store right now. Now, where do you go from there? These are your farming guides as far as spending your currency, but what about all this currency you're getting for the Shard Shop? Who should you gear? My recommendations would be to gear out that Sith Empire squad that I recommended for Arena. Not Geonosians. Your Emperor Palpatine, your Darth Vader, your Grand Moff Tarkin, your Shore Trooper, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Scion, kind of those 7, though you may or may not want to throw gear on Grand Moff Tarkin. And then I would also gear up some pilots for ships that I'd recommend you run. Now, I noticed that you currently are using a Grand Moff Tarkin leader with Biggs, TIE Advanced, and TIE Reaper. Now, I've seen a little bit of the TIE Reaper at the top, but I don't think he's nearly as strong as he was. So, if I were in your shoes, I would probably switch to TIE Reaper for the TIE Fighter. Because it's just a little more dependable, and the TIE Fighter is a very strong ship. Super fast. It's the fastest ship, so he'll go first. And if he does proc that target lock, he'll give you that taunt quickly. And your reinforcements, I would say in this order, Slave 1 would be your first reinforcement, followed by First Order TIE Fighter Pilot, followed by Ahsoka Tano Starfighter or Sunfax Starfighter. I think you only have room for 3 because your Grand Moff Tarkin's ship is only 6 stars, your Executrix. And given that your Sunfac is only gear 7, I would say Slave 1 is your first reinforcement, First Order TIE Fighter Pilot as your second reinforcement, and Ahsoka Tano as your third. Ahsoka Tano really kind of got a buff with the rework. She still hits super hard and is quite possibly one of the hardest hitting ships in the game aside from TIE Silencer. So she's great to pull in at the ends and just start wailing on people. So I would get those pilots geared. And then once you're all done with your arena team and your pilots, I'd recommend working on a resistance team if it looks like it's about time for you to get Jedi Training Rey. Or work on a First Order team. The First Order is very strong right now. They have strong ships. They work really well in territory war, territory battle. They dominate, and they're useful in the Sith raid. So gearing First Order and Resistance would be who I would go towards after you make sure your arena teams are good. Now, to make sure your arena teams are good, your character arena, you really want to stay top 100 so you can get those 100 to 150 crystals a day. And if you can keep your fleet arena in the top 50 and get those 50 crystals a day, you're going to be doing fantastic. Because as long as you're doing your dailies, you're going to get about 50 crystals a day. So those 200 is good enough for 1 Cantina refresh and 2 normal refreshes. With those 2 normal refreshes, you can farm all the hard node characters that I recommended. Well, maybe not all of them at one time, but you'll be able to get most of them. And 1 refresh of Cantina energy is huge. It practically doubles your Cantina energy per day. So that's where I would go. I know it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, a lot of little things here and there. But truly, I think it could help you. I think there's a lot of great stuff. And you're definitely on the right track. I see a lot of really good things here. And so with continued focus and dedication, in a couple months, you will definitely be a force to be reckoned with. So I could keep talking forever, but I know you really don't want to listen forever, and there's plenty of stuff there for you to absorb and take in. So maybe you want to listen to this a second or a third time, make sure you get some notes, kind of see where your farming is going to be, see if you think my advice is good, if you think it's just a bunch of garbage. Totally up to you. Like I said, my feelings won't be hurt either way, but I see great things in the future for Agents of Chaos, and I definitely see you leading the way there. So, with that, I will have to say good night to Tehsigzorz, good night Chaos, and good luck to everyone in your farming and your explorations within this game.